Hello everyone, welcome back to the Game Droid and welcome back to modern Skyblock 3. So, I found out how I automate these things, and to automate these things I need a calculator wrench. Now it says to make a calculator wrench we need a reinforced sword and a reinforced pickaxe. So I made this recipe, and making that recipe gets us this guy. And these two people, when put with a calculator, as it says they should be, but we'll try both calculators just in case. We go sword, pickaxe, nothing, and sword, pickaxe, nothing. And that's supposed to be in the basic calculator. So I'm going to cheat because I do want to automate these things, and yeah, like I should be able to make that. So I'm going to give myself a wrench. And this is how you automate. Rather than having a GUI inside, you automate by doing that, and that gives it the automation. So now, if we do this and we do extract always active and insert, now it's going to start automatically pulling these out. I figured out what I'd done wrong. I was using stone instead of cobblestone. That's why I wasn't getting a mixture of circuits. As to this is literally just the assembler and the reassembly chamber and the restoration chamber combined together in the atomic calculator with a flawless diamond. So not a problem at all. And I've just all of this stuff that you see in here I've been getting as random chances. So these things and this reinforced iron sword and the spare calculator and the health processor, all these things I've just been getting as random chances from, as well as the tanzanite, from just processing circuitry. So now this thing's just going to be producing circuits for me, and I'll be able to come back to a whole batch of circuits, which I can then analyze, because the circuits do all sorts of different interesting things. Some of them do nothing. Other ones can be used to make upgrades, things like that. So now we have yet another wrench, but it is a useful wrench. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue working on is that an amethyst? That's a large amethyst. It needs to be in the calculator, I see. So we'll come back to that later, and we'll make the trees from calculator mod. But the thing we were working on is we were getting Ethereum. So I made the device, I replicated enough nether stars, and that was basically all I needed to do to make enough of these tier 5 structure frames. It's got a couple of accuracy modifiers in it, which just mean that it's going to have a better percentage chance of getting crystals, and a bunch of speed modifiers. It sucks up energy like there's nobody's business, but it's generating a constant tick of resources. You can see it's just constantly bringing resources in and then sending them off to here. And it's gathering aetherite, which is what we need to get the tier 6s going. In the meantime, one of the other things we need to do to get into the next stages are we need to get to Kepler 22b. And to get to Kepler 22b, we need a tier 10 rocket. To get a tier 10 rocket, we're going to need to use a tier 9 rocket, go to Eris, I believe, and search for a dungeon on Eris. So that shouldn't be too hard. Tier 3 rocket launch pad. We'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll just rack out this launch pad nice and quick. So what we can do is grab our spacesuit, lose a whole bunch of HP, make sure we have our flight suit on, double check our oxygen. We're definitely going to need to top our oxygen up. So we will throw, this is the advanced oxygen compressor, so you can have the empty one. And this is the non-advanced one, so you can have the non-empty one. Not enough power. Ah, yes, I disconnected my wireless. So I want a wireless charger. And we'll just pop you back up in here again. Theoretically, that should be giving these guys power. yeah, it's getting power and slowly filling those up with oxygen. So what I'll do is I will be back in a bit once that is full. And we're back. While I was waiting, I did go and have a little bit of a check, and apparently there's a few things we can do, like we have teleportation and jumping abilities using the floors calculator if we make certain circuits. One thing we can make is a transfer circuit which allows machines to transfer from one machine to another with nothing between them. Might look at making that and just putting like this guy next to one of these and just having it transfer circuits back and forth later on. But in the meantime, we've got oxygen, we've got our spaceship, we've got... whoa, you are big. We've got the location of Eris, which I presume, as it is the only tier 9 one we have access to at the moment, it's the where we're going to be finding our tier 10 rocket schematic. I'm just going to make sure my radiation's not too high. Just have a quick top in here, just check. Yeah, my radiation level's currently 0, that's fine. And I have a Eris, that's Pluto, I have an Eris teleporter and I have a teleporter block. So we can add a teleporter to the Eris dimension. And we've got full fuel. So let's head up to Eris and we'll see if we can get a Type 10. So while we are gathering Aetherium crystals and while we are looking into the calculator mod, we're going to pop into Eris, get a level 10 rocket so we can get to Kepler 22b, and hopefully we'll be able to unlock RF tools and equivalent exchange in the next episode. So equivalent exchange is going to be really useful because there's a lot of stuff that we can't duplicate. I did try that power-based duplication method. It does turn one item into 4 items in exchange for 1.4 giga RF. And it does allow us to duplicate items, but it is quite limited in what it can duplicate compared with EMC duplication, which can duplicate a massive number of items, everything from nether stars to God knows what else. So fingers crossed we'll get into EMC reasonably soon, then we can duplicate nether stars, we can get a lot of stuff just generating very easily. Again, kind of my standard complaint that you just hold spacebar on every planet after first, although it does look like we have a dungeon right next to us. If we check the minimap in the top right corner, it does look like, yeah, that's definitely a dungeon right next to our landing location. That's amazing. I wish it was true that the dungeons were always in the same place every time you landed, because if the dungeons were always in the same place every time you landed, we would have had dungeon right next to us on every single landing, which I would have been absolutely thrilled about. But unfortunately not. So bind you to there, that's fine. We now have a way back to Eris whenever we need to. We are currently suffering ridiculously high levels of radiation. This is a radiation planet, has 50% radiation. So we're going to be gaining radiation very, very fast. But if we head down here, we're down into an Eris dungeon, and hopefully the Eris dungeon is... I mean, do I really care about what's in the... My creeper charm must have died at some point. I don't remember my creeper charm dying. Lunar sapphires, that's something we haven't gotten very often from quests. So let's quickly pop into our personal chest. We'll grab out our flux-infused shield, bow and arrows. And we'll just have a quick look at what we're facing. The zombie boss is on Eris. That's a surprise. Come on in. Face my shield of doom. Come on. Come on. Come on, you want to fight me? There we go. That was actually shockingly easy. But I'm an overpowered character. You can't expect expect it to be ridiculously difficult. Now I'm hoping there is only the one reward. Tier 10 electric rocket. So we've got tier 10 electric rocket and tier 10 rocket. Needs to be placed on a powered rocket launch. Okay, that I wasn't expecting. They're both from extra planets. They're both from extra planets. So this one uses fuel, uses up a ton of tier 10 plates, tier 10 engine. This one uses tier 10 engine. It uses compressed platinum. Tier 2 batteries, which are Desh and lead. 2 tier 10 rockets. And tier 10 no. 2 tier 10 rockets! I don't even have 1 tier 10 rocket. Okay, so it's possible that this isn't the place we want to be. Then. I mean, we'll continue to have a look around. We'll find a second... I'll see if I can find a second dungeon and... see if there is indeed an actual tier 10 rocket, but it looks like we might not get the tier 10 rocket from this planet. Can we have a tier 10 rocket schematic? Doesn't tell us where to get one. So what I'll do is I'll have a quick explore on this planet, and God, we've been on here for the length of a single dungeon and we've already got 25% radiation. Luckily I can go backwards and forwards now, basically as often as much as I want, but yeah, that is quite shocking that we have that much of a significant jump, that we need 2 tier 10 rockets to make an electric rocket. But then I suppose, like, the idea in that would be that, like, you don't have to make fuel anymore. Once you've done that, like, you don't make fuel at all. Let's have a look at the space and beyond. Yeah, Eris. Dark iron ingots. Okay. So we'll go and grab dark iron ingots because we can at least complete that, and I'm assuming they're going to be near the base of the world again, because it seems like Extra Planets just likes putting all of its resources at the bottom of the world. Dark iron ingots. Or dark iron. There we go. I'm going to assume we're going to need this for the tier 10 plates. Yeah, so we're going to have to set up the mining tool here anyway. Okay, so I found another one. So fingers crossed this gives us our level 10. If it doesn't, I'm going to have a look at where we get the level 10 from. So let's buzz through here nice and quick. Don't really care what's in the chests. I don't think the chests around here have anything that I particularly need. Ooh, whoops. Teleport out of the whole thing, and here we go. I'm just gonna tank it, and I should, between my... There we go, there was a Vorpal Strike. And a second Vorpal Strike finishes him off, which bugs out the bar. I did have to go back to the overworld to refresh my radiation. I teleported back to the overworld and picked up my radiation. So this is a tier 10 chest. Tier 9 treasure chest. Generated on Pluto. They unlock after defeating the final boss. That's where we got the tier 9 rocket from, was Pluto. So this should contain tier 10 rocket. The electric rocket again. Okay, I'm going to give this one more try. I'm going to find one more dungeon, which will take a little while, but that's fine. I'm going to find one more dungeon, and then if that's not the case, I will have a look into where we get the tier 10 rocket from. And here we go again. Let's quickly buzz through here. And buzz through here. And let's just see what we can do with the bow. Okay, so even with our bow, we can take this guy down pretty damn quick. It's interesting that his hitbox is primarily his legs. So if I fire up there, he's a lot harder to, like, it hits a lot less commonly than if I just spam fire his legs. But 1.8 gigabyte, the 1.8 gigabyte patch there. 1.8 gigabyte save, which I don't think it actually did. So fingers crossed this actually gets us to tier 10 rocket. I did look it up in between stuff. This is where you get tier 10 rockets from. Also apparently where you get tier 10 electric rockets from, but there we go, tier 10 rocket. Took its sweet time, but we got a tier 10 rocket. So if we head back to the main area on Eris, actually if we head back to the overworld, we can then start making the tier 10 rocket plates. I'm going to need to set up a digital miner on Eris to get all of the metal that we need. But to be honest, it shouldn't take too long. Let's have a look what plates we have already. We have some tier 9 plates and that's it. So we're going to have to work our way through quite a few different plates, but it's not difficult to do. It's just all resources that we have anyway, because I've been digitally mining on most planets. So it's literally just a case of making them, and it's just putting stuff through the compressors. If we look up tier 10, it's literally just a case of dark iron, tungsten, zinc, crystal, magnesium, palladium, mercury and carbon, dash, meteoric iron, and then the basic plates. This, we only need, what, 35 of these plates if the mathematics remains the same? Yeah, 35 of these plates and some extra dark irons. It's not going to take long or be particularly difficult. Well, it's going to take a while. It's going to take time, but it's not going to be difficult. It's just going to be the process of making them and making them and making them and making them. Which, yeah, it's not going to take long at all. I think I have like 3 digital miners set up on different planets at the moment. So it's not going to take a long time at all to compress down. I might even have some plates compressing in here already. We've got some tier 4 plates in there. We've got plenty of space zinc. We've got a bunch of tier 5 plates there. We've got some magnesium already compressing. Mercury compressed there, palladium, and reinforced crystal. Yeah, it's not going to take long at all. So what I will do is I will come back when we are set with plates. Okie dokie, so I'm going to make myself another return amulet, and we're going to call it Kepler 22b. And you will do. Let's just charge it up. We can put Eris away. Yeah, Eris. Where's Pluto gone? Ah, there's Pluto. So Pluto, Eris. The overworld goes up here. And this one gets renamed as Kepler 22b. I can't rename it because I don't have any experience at the moment because of the way the experience bar disappears in between islands and things like that. So let's rename this Kepler 22b. I made one too many fins, but I had enough plates anyway, so it doesn't matter. I found that if you put the extraplanet ores that you can put into a pulverizer in here with some vibrant alloy, you often get 4 instead of 2. So that seems to be a slightly better way of doing things. We'll get another one of these guys out, and I believe it is definitely Kepler 22b it wants us to go to. Excuse me? Did I use up all my dark iron without actually completing the quest? No, I have a little bit of dark iron left in here. There we go. I think it's definitely Kepler 22b it wants us to go to. Yeah, Kepler 22b, and it wants us to find one of each of the colours of diamond. It's on Kepler 22b. That should be super, super easy. So, launch platform. It's only a tier 3 launch platform we need. We've already got a tier 3 launch platform thanks to launching the previous tier of rocket. It would be really cool if they implemented like having to build like vent panels and things, and actually having to build like a proper full-on, like build a thing and then a tunnel underneath it that takes gas and flames off in the other direction. Blooming heck, these are getting to be very, very big. Very big. Our end portal is still generating bad guys every now and then, but I put it over there for a reason. What are you up to? You've generated 1 million RF thanks to lightning strikes, just random ones, and we've generated a bunch of electric diamond. Cool. I will put that away in my calculator crate. My what am I doing with all of this stuff crate? And let's throw these in the analyzer. Enriched golden pickaxe and some soil. So we are getting these tools. We might eventually get the enriched stone tools or the reinforced stone tools that we need to make the chisel, but it takes so long to do that. Let's throw you in there and you in there for when we get back. We'll have some more to do. And we can head up to Kepler. Yes, we have full fuel. It's fine, and we can head up to Kepler. Once we land on Kepler, we can set up a Kepler 22b teleporter, and then we can get the different gems, and that should be like 100% completion of the To Space and Beyond. Don't really see any use for a lot of the stuff from extra planets. I might actually just delete all of the, because the backups are, with the backups being 1.2 gigabytes, 1.6 gigabytes now, I might just delete all of the extra planet dimensions. I don't really need the extra planet dimensions anymore as far as I'm aware. Like, exploring other planets is interesting, but there's not really any more to the extra planets anymore. There's not really any more to, like, exploring any further away. If we scroll out, I believe this is Kepler. Kepler 22b. And to build a satellite, it requires 24 of each of the diamonds there. So we could build a satellite around Kepler 22b if we had 24 of each type of satellite, each type of diamond. Oh! Oh, is this actually like a... This is a planet with oxygen? This is a planet with oxygen. And no radiation. Okay. Oops. I kind of just lost my fortune coin because I kind of accidentally put it in the same slot as the fortune coin. We can fall down nice and quickly because I have my flight gem, so it doesn't matter. And let's get back into this thing. So we've got just normal pigs. Let's make myself another fortune coin because I accidentally just dropped my fortune coin in space. There we go. Let's pop you down and do this. Do we even need a spacesuit on? No? 22b is literally just another dimension planet. Nice. So that's bound to dimension -22. That's fine. And we'll get the overworld one out just in case. So we've got Kepler soil, we've got purple maple logs, white icing with red dots, candy canes, grass, different coloured candy canes, red maples, I'm guessing diamond trees? Diamond trees and gold. Oh my god, if we bring a digital miner here, the amount of our EMC we can get from just that little biome right there. We've got little oak, Kepler 22b brown maple, we've got gold, iron, emerald. Blooming heck. That is a lot of... That is a lot of just general resources. Okay. I've never been to Kepler, so this is a lot different than I thought it was. We've got coal trees, and then we've got the different coloured trees. And we've got another emerald biome over there. We've got a little hut here. What are you, little hut? You are just a little hut with a bed in it. Got cavern vines. These ore biomes with the ore blocks and the blocks of resources on top of trees are just mind-blowingly awesome, because that's just going to be so much EMC. If we don't even need to make an RF dimensions, we can just come here and mine barkingly strong amounts of EMC. So it wants us to find each of the kind of emerald, diamond. If we head down here, I'm going to assume that the different diamonds are at bedrock level, as it has always been with all the other planets. Got marble. Dense coal. Yes, so we've got different diamonds down here. So we've got blue diamond. Yeah. As expected. So let's have a look what we've got. We've got yellow diamond ore, blue diamond ore. And what does it want us to get? It wants us to get yellow, blue, green, purple, and red. Okay. Now the question is, do those match up? No, those don't match up with the biomes that are above us, so I'm going to make the assumption that basically the biomes are completely random. Do I have my dev null? I do have a dev null. I'm going to put you in it. And now I shouldn't have to worry about picking up ridiculous amounts of this ground. Turn you on. So that should be... Let's have a look. We've got yellow, red, purple, green, and blue. It'd be kind of nice to get a few more reds. There we go. There's some more reds. And some more reds. Lovely. Reds. Greens. Yellows. Blues. And the question is then, like, how are we going to get the best out of these resources? So let's have a look at the reds. If we put them through the sag mill, we get 2 plus a chance of a third, so we can, using the vibrant globes, basically double that. So yeah, we should have more than enough here now. One thing I do want to do is pop back to the surface, and I do want to grab a couple of the candy canes just to see what the candy canes are, see if they're food. You never know, if the candy canes are food. Ah, there's my fortune coin that I dropped. If the candy canes are food, and if this white icing block is just white icing blocks with red dots, fair enough. And what about candy cane blocks? Just coloured candy cane blocks. Does contain census. Okay. I suppose I can go... Ah, and there is cake. There is just random cake lying on the floor. And what are you? Let's quickly grab a bucket. You chocolate milk or something. Liquid chocolate. Use. Creates chocolate bars. Okay. Have you got anything in you? You're empty. I'm gonna grab all the chocolate, all the chocolate, all the chocolate. 1 bucket of chocolate apparently makes 6 chocolate bars, so that's 1/6 of a litre of chocolate per chocolate bar. That's actually, yeah, I'd say that's actually probably about the average size of a chocolate bar. What, 180 grams? Possibly, possibly not. What are you? Liquid caramel. Yes. So there we go, we now have liquid chocolate and liquid caramel to add to our little escapade. Okay, so this has diamond, emerald, gold and iron and coal biomes in here. We have some pretty colours, and some animals, and some trees. Kepler 22b is an interesting planet. Especially the emerald biomes. Like, this emerald biome has, what, let's have a look how many emeralds there are on a single tree. That's almost a stack, so that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stacks of emerald blocks just from the trees. And then we've got the emerald ores as well, and that's over a stack of emeralds from the ores. That's pretty impressive. I mean, I know I'm generating emeralds, but it's not a bad way to get extras, shall we say. Oh, and rare earth as well. Not a bad way to get some rare earth either. So let's put you away in there. You're just my dev null. And then we'll teleport back to the overworld. We'll process up the different gems, and we will have completed the entire of To Space and Beyond. So let's just pop one of you in there for now. One of you in there for now. One of you in there for now. In there for now. And one of you in there for now. Yeah, we're getting like an average of 6 per. We just occasionally get less. And there we go. We have completed that. And the only thing we have left to unlock RF tools is getting the tier 6 environmental techs. Tier 6 Void Ore Miner and a Tier 6 Lunar Array. Let's see what we've got over here as far as Aethium crystals go. Yep, we have the Aethium crystals, so all I have to do is craft Aethium crystal blocks. We need 12 in total, I believe, which we can do. Easily, we can do, because we've got another stack there. And then we want to make the lunar array. A tier 6 lunar array, which requires us to make 4 of these. And then the tier 6 ore miner, which I think we should have an ore miner in here. I think I did prep an ore miner. Yeah, I did prep an ore miner in here. So there's the ore miner and the lunar array. So that should unlock RF tools. So in the next episode, what we can do is we can actually look into starting the RF tools sequence as well. Overworld and the Kepler away. To be honest, as I said, I will probably look into maybe erasing some of the unneeded dimensions from space travel, because we don't really need to space and beyond anymore. In the RF tools in the next episode, because now that I know how to automate calculator, I can automate calculator and get some of that running in the background. But in the RF tools, we've got machines, dimensional shards, and machine bases, machine frames and machine bases. And then we can get into faster traveling through teleporters, not really needed because we've got silent gems. We can look into infusing machines to use that to infuse machines, block protection, powered beacons, continuous auto crafting, universal cables and routing. And we can look into dimension building with the dimlet machine as well as the builder for mining. So now we're looking at opening up mystical crops and equivalents. So let's have a look what we need for mystical crops and equivalents. So for mystical crops, we need to do custom dimlets and shielding. So basically move through RF. And then when we get into mystical crops, we need mystical crops, cruxes, and ultimate smelting to get equivalency. So ultimate smelting is probably in True Blacksmith, possibly. Custom dimlets, shielding. Not sure where ultimate smelting is. Ultimate smelting is probably in mystical crops. Yeah, mystical crops get equivalency. So this down here, these areas, and cruxes is in there as well. These areas down here are literally just using essence to make essence, to make essence, to make essence, to make essence. That shouldn't be a problem. We have 111,000 essence stored up. We could have even stored up more, because that's actually the maximum size of storage we've got at the moment. We can't store any more than 111,000. But it's 4 per, so it's factor of 4, factor of 4, factor of 4, factor of 4, which would make our 111,000 worth 27,000 of the next up, 6,000 or 7,000 of the next up of that, 1,700 of the next up, 400 of the next up, and basically like 100 of the top level essence, which should be more than enough to do everything we need to do. But for the time being, with calculator and RF tools opened up before us, I think we will say thank you very much for watching. I have been the Gaming Droid. This has been Modern Skyblock 3, and I will see you all in the next episode. Goodbye, everybody.